What if instead of choosing between a piano or a guitar, you could create a sound that was entirely your own, built from electrical signals and shaped exactly how you wanted it? This is where our story takes its next revolutionary turn. Before the 1960s, if you wanted a new sound, your options were pretty limited. You could modify existing instruments, combine them in unusual ways, or literally build something new from wood and metal. Then came Robert Moog, an engineer with a vision that would transform music forever. The Moog Synthesizer wasn't just another instrument you could pick up and play. This was an entirely new approach to creating sound. Instead of strings vibrating or air moving through tubes, the Moog generated sounds using electrical oscillators, filters, and envelopes. Musicians weren't playing the notes, they were designing sounds from their most basic components. Early synthesizers looked more like telephone switchboards than musical instruments. They were massive wall-sized machines with countless knobs, patch cables, and models that required serious technical knowledge to operate. The cost and complexity meant only the wealthiest studios, universities, and a few adventurous musicians could access them. Despite their intimidating appearance, these machines offered something revolutionary: the ability to craft sounds that simply couldn't exist in nature. As Brian Eno later described it, the synthesizer allows you to create sounds that are not just imitations of real instruments, but entirely new sonic experiences. The turning point for synthesizers came in 1968 when a classical musician, Wendy Carlos, released an album called Switched On Bach. Instead of treating synthesizers as weird space noise generators, Carlos meticulously recreated Bach's composition using only the Moog synthesizer. The album was a massive hit, selling over 1 million copies and winning 3 Grammy Awards. Suddenly, this strange new technology wasn't just experimental composers. It had proven itself as a serious musical tool capable of incredible precision and expression. With mainstream acceptance came experimentation. Rock bands began incorporating synthesizers to create atmospheric soundscapes that transported listeners to other dimensions. Pink Floyd used synthesizers throughout their landmark album, Dark Side of the Moon, creating otherworldly textures that perfectly matched their cosmic lyrics. These weren't sounds attempting to mimic traditional instruments. They were entirely new sonic experiences that expanded what music could be. But synthesizers didn't just enhance rock music. In the mid-70s, Italian producer Giorgiano started working with disco singer Donna Summer, using synthesizers to create futuristic sequences and pulsing bass lines. Their collaboration produced I Feel Love, a track so revolutionary that when fellow musicians Brian Eno first heard it, he reportedly told David Bowie, "I heard the sound of the future." Those hypnotic synthesizer patterns would become foundational to electronic music, disco, and eventually techno and house music. As with most technologies, synthesizers evolved rapidly. The earlier behemoths that filled entire rooms gave way to more compact designs. The real breakthrough came when the Minimoog in the early 1970s, a portable keyboard-based synthesizer that didn't require patch cables and complex setup. These accessibilities meant that working musicians could actually bring synthesizers on tour and integrate them into live performances. The impact was enormous. Suddenly, every musician had access to an entirely new palette of sounds. It wasn't just about playing different notes. It was about creating sounds that had never existed before. Composers were no longer limited to choosing from existing instruments. They could design exactly the sound they wanted from scratch. Think about what this meant for creative freedom. Before synthesizers, if you wanted a sound that glided smoothly between notes, something impossible to do on a piano, or a bass tone that pulsed with mathematical precision, or textures that evolved and morphed over time, these were simply impossible. Now they were just a few knob turns away.